think so. Yep. I'll just wait if... Morning guys, if... Just turns up. Because you won't see this, will you?
I can't see.
Yeah.
But I can make it so anyone just comes up.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Start.
Waiting room off. Close.
Cool. Okay. I am going to start recording. First, I will say the world's gone mad. Talking to the wrong microphone, so I don't know if you can hear me. Probably a good thing.
Plus there's a full frontal of your crotch, right?
Oh my gosh. Guys, on YouTube there's a full frontal of my crotch. Okay. I'm now going to record. Oh yes, I can see. There's so many cameras. Okay. For me, but okay. Hello, good morning, welcome. A strange day once again. I feel like we've been through this before. I am filled with unpleasant emotions, let's say. So, yes, we're actually filming from the studio, which is a little bit different for a Wednesday. And I want to start by doing the energy routine. We've done parts of it before. We're going to do it together, basically because it is a really magical way to keep all of your subtle energies in your body's vitality flowing and coherent and in harmony and balance, which we obviously do in a yoga practice as well. But by doing these techniques, you can kind of learn them and then use them in your life. It's a really awesome way to keep your immunity up, things that you won't hear from the government. And so we're excited to share that and to start off that way, and hopefully during these rather uncertain times, you can use some of them, so that would be cool. But we'll start off just finding whatever your comfortable seat is today, rolling the shoulders, adjusting side to side, and then just a moment to settle and find that length of spine. Taking a few rounds of breath, breathing in through the nose, and sighing it out the mouth. Again, filling up and just letting that sigh out. And then maybe softening your breath so you're just easing the exhale now out through the nose. And taking these first initial rounds of breath to really observe what's happening inside of your body. And I know for myself it's very hyped up. There's a lot of tension and gripping that can come in. Maybe you're having a very different experience, but using this time to just observe what's there. How does the inside of your body feel? And can you use just the simple act and intention of your breath to start to slow that down, to soften, and we begin to create this sense of coherence and harmony by using the breath and moving from the center of our being out. Just taking 3 full breaths like this. And in a moment with your next inhale, you can reach the arms up overhead, lifting that nice and tall, reach through your hands, bring the palms together, and then draw hands through heart center. Okay, so we're going to start off by crossing the energy over, so taking one of your hands to the opposite shoulder, and then really press down, so you're kind of giving yourself a little shoulder release, and drag it to the opposite hip. And if you prefer not to be actually in physical contact with your body, if you're social distancing with yourself, feel free to hover off the body. That was a bad COVID joke. I might have a few of them. It's just John sitting in front of me. We're normally in the booth. I don't get to have him in the class. And we're running on about 3 hours of sleep, so it's a really good time. Woo! Yeah. So crossing it over, beautiful. One more. Take that out, and then we move to our 4 tapping points. So most of you know those. We're going to come up underneath the eye, just a little tap. Again, if it does feel tender, just don't tap as hard, or you can massage the point. Beautiful. And then our second point down underneath the collarbones. So finding the sticky outfits and just dropping off slightly to the side. So it's still relatively in towards the center. This is our K27, or the end of the kidney meridian. And it's a great point for when you're feeling a little overwhelmed and stressed. I should be on this all day. Again, if it starts to feel tender, I know mine felt really tender this morning. So just noticing that, and that's where having a little massage as well. So you could tap and massage. It's a nice idea. Beautiful. Third point, hands come together, drop down to the center, and then maybe both points like this, in the same rhythm, or just one hand. And this is on the central meridian or the thymus band. This is a great one for our immune support. So doing any of the energy routine is going to be really good for keeping your immunity balanced, because when the system is balanced, our immunity is strong. And this point kind of directly correlates to that. So it's a nice one to do when you remember to know that you do have the power in your own body to stay healthy and vital. You do not need something else to give you that. And then our 4th point up to the side on spleen. So maybe under the nipple, just kind of out to the side and then slightly in. You find this point, you can bring the hands across, or you might decide today is the day to give yourself a little hug, crossing the arms over. It's also nice because you get an extra crossing over with the body. And then releasing that, shake out your hands. Bring your middle finger of one hand into the belly button. Middle finger of the other hand comes up in between the 2 eyebrows. And then just pressing in and drawing up. Now you might notice that you yawn or sigh, or the breath slightly changes, and that's actually meant to be an indication that your central and governing meridian are hooking up, or the lower and upper parts of your body. So take a few breaths in through the nose and sighing it out the mouth. Maybe just 3 breaths like this. If you've already yawned or sighed, you can bring your hands down. Beautiful, releasing that, giving a little shake. And then just coming over, we're going to do, there's actually a lot of these neurolymphatic points down the body that are really helpful for massaging just sort of all along the front of the body. And this is also great if you've got, for immune support and just letting things flush through and toxins flush through the body. But we're just going to work with what's known as central neurolymphatic point. So bringing the 3 or 4 fingers right over into the crease, what am I trying to say? The part where your arm basically attaches to your torso. And you're going to get it here. Put a little massage, and then if you notice, you're like, ooh, that's pretty tender, just go gently. You don't want to overdo it, but you also do want a level of pressure. So you are moving kind of the toxic load that's sitting in that part of the lymph out. Beautiful, and then moving over to the other side, a little massage there. Beautiful, letting that go, shake out the arms, and bring yourself up to standing. Okay, so we'll take a few rounds of our cross crawls. This is really great for getting the energy crossing over, which we want, so we're not going to one-sided or homolateral as it's called. So just taking opposite hand to opposite knee, really dramatic walking here. You can even let the hand come right up in front of the face, just kind of adds extra bonus benefit. And if you want a little bit more of a physical challenge as you do this, try elbow to knee, or the going hand, but feel free. Beautiful, and then slowing it down. Okay, this next one is known as connecting heaven and earth, and it's a really great one for also grounding and just dealing with challenging transitions. So a nice one to add into your day if you're dealing with a lot of change. So hands onto the thighs, we take a nice full breath, and you can sigh it out the mouth. Inhale, reach your arms up, palms together, and then exhale, hands, heart center. Then on the inhale, you're going to reach one arm up, one arm down, pressing through the palms, lift your gaze, and then hold at the end of the inhale. Now when you need to exhale, bring hands to heart center. And again, other side, inhale, hold the breath. And exhale. Keep moving. You might be moving a lot slower than I am. Could just be my irrational breath. And taking one more to each side. And the next time you come down, slight bend of the knees. Let yourself fold forward, hanging the hands off the floor, let the head be heavy. Taking 2 full breaths here. And then with your hands, start to trace, like you're drawing big figure of 8s. Right in front of your body. Your energy around the body loves figure of 8s. It creates a lot of coherence in the field around you, or your kind of auric field, but just the energy and space around the body. So you create these figure of 8s. It's like doing a little dance. You can even do them behind you. Might feel a bit weird, you know. Of course, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But why not add some bonus? The strengthening our field. And then reach the arms up, back of the hands together. And as you exhale, hands come down. Okay, then bring your hands together, rub your hands, and shake them off. Rub your hands, bring the palms apart. See if you can feel the space in between your hands. If that's not quite happening, you can rub them again. Maybe you feel sensation or heat. Maybe you don't notice anything there. You just kind of play with what you can feel. Sometimes it can feel quite magnetic, because it is electromagnetic. And then hands come up beside the ears, right? Lift your elbows slightly, and then let your elbows start to come in towards each other as you cross the wrists over each other. Reach the arms out wide. And then let the hands cross over the heart center. So you make that cross once again. This time fold forward, reach the arms back behind you. Then scoop the hands down in front of your shins, cross the arms again over the front of the shins. Sweep the arms up and back. And then like you're scooping the energy around you, turn your palms down, lift it all the way up. And then let it come down your body. Little shake. This time both hands right to the pelvic bone here. We're going to zip up our central meridian. So we trace all the way up to the bottom lip. Option is to bring the hands down or make a nice big heart. And there is a whole system that activates known as the radiant circuit. So open out and make a heart. And the last one's really funny. We're going to lock ourselves up. So come up like you're locking yourself up. All the energy for you. Throw away the key. Shake it out. Nice work. Now we're all energetically balanced. We are going to come into movement right away and just get things flowing and moving. Trying to stay with your breath. Take child's pose or anything else when you need, as you see fit. So making your way to the top of the mat. Roll those shoulders back and really ground down through your feet. So a moment to shift the weight forward and back. Kind of be a little bit more dramatic with the movement initially. See where your weight falls. Take it side to side. And even see if you can come right up onto your toes, catch the balance. And then right back onto the heels, see if you can catch the balance. A little bit harder. Forward, back, bringing some awareness and movement into your feet. And then slowing it down. Making the movement more subtle, maybe closing your eyes and just see where you feel really grounded through your 2 feet. What this means to you. Take a nice full inhale through the nose and sighing it out the mouth. Start with our lunge salutations. So with your breath, reach the arms up, inhale. As you exhale, bending the knees, hands come down, you might like a moment to pause halfway with elbows to knees, especially if the back's feeling a little tender today, or come down a little further. Then hands to shins, halfway lift. Bending your knees to plant the hands to the floor, step your right foot back. Bring your right knee down. Option just to stay on your fingertips if you'd like to for this first round, or reach the arms up and find your low lunge. And you can always bring some other support under your back knee to feel a little more supported here. And lifting up the pelvis, lengthen through your arms, maybe you lift your gaze. On your breath, hands come down, frame the foot, tuck the back toes, step back, come into your downward facing dog. Now if you feel you'd like a little bit more of a warm up before down dog, then bring your knees down and just take a few rounds of your cat-cow first. So making it yours if you want that extra movement. Otherwise, start to find that movement, maybe even like a cat-cow action from your downward facing dog. I like to take the feet side to side. Beautiful. Then rising up onto your toes, ripple forward towards your high plank position. And then slight bend in the knees, reach it up and back for downward facing dog. Again like this, ripple forward, high plank position. Little bit of the knees, take it up and back, downward facing dog. From your down dog, reach your right leg high. And maybe a moment just to open out, either through that hip or just circles through the ankle. And then start to draw the knee towards the nose. Step that right foot through. Any helping hand it might need to get there. Back knee comes down, and we lift up for low lunge. And it doesn't have to be a huge wide stance. It can be more of this kind of 90 degrees. Exhale, plant your hands down. Gazing forward, and we step to the top of the mat. Folding over the legs. Press down through the feet, rising all the way up. Lift, maybe you rise up onto the toes, or just pausing here. And hands through heart center. Staying with your breath, reach up. Forward fold. Halfway lift, hands to shins. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step left foot back. Left knee comes down. Low lunge, arms reach up. Exhale, hands come back down. Step back, downward facing dog. And then there's 3 rounds from your down dog to your high plank. So rising up, ripple forward. Pausing in high plank. Bend those knees, taking it up and back. Inhale, rise and ripple forward. And then coming back. Rise, ripple forward. And then downward facing dog. Reach the left leg high. Open once again. Maybe scorpion dog, maybe just a little movement with the foot or circles with the knee. Just a moment, and then stepping that left foot through. Any helping hand it needs, bring the back knee down, arms reach up, finding your low lunge, lengthening. Hands come down, back the back toes, gazing forward, step to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Pressing down through the feet, rise on up. And hands through heart center. Beautiful. So staying in the flow with the breath, we're going to take it again this time with the option of high lunges. So arms reach with the breath. Forward fold. Halfway lift, hands to shins. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step your right foot back. Either stay on the back toes or come to the knee and then rise up, crescent lunge. Pressing up to that back heel, look for the squeezing in the inner thighs and really lifting and lengthening through your side body. And then let the hands come down, Step back, downward facing dog first. Either a few rounds from down dog to high plank, or shift forward for your high plank. Option, slow lower to the floor, or let the knees come down and make your way down to your belly. Look for that active baby cobra, so lifting up, find activity through the backs and the back of your legs. Your option is to stay right here, or for the practice today, you might like to bring the hands back, press into the tops of the feet, and look for your upward facing dog. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Nice full deep breath here. And then right leg rises. Once again, you can take movement here by bending the knee, opening the hips. If it's very confidently in your practice, you might even start to come over and make your way into wild thing. You can always bring that left knee down to support. And it's very much just an option if it feels like a good place to go for you. Coming back as you reach the right leg long, gazing forward, step your right foot in between the hands, rising up onto your fingertips. Again, option, back knee down or stay on the toes and reach it up, crescent lunge. Beautiful, and then just adding a little bit of balance here, straightening your front leg. You can keep your hands up or bring your hands to your hips. And then option, if you'd like to, stay high on your back toes and maybe see if you can lift your front foot and find that squeezing in of inner thighs. Beautiful, take a nice full breath. And then foot comes down, in the front knee, and your fingertips come to the floor. Maybe a nice dramatic step to the top by reaching that leg. And then stepping it forward. Forward fold. Ground out through the feet, rising up. Maybe up onto those toes, or just lengthening at the top. And hands through heart center. One more round like this to the left side. Arms reach, inhale, stay with your breath, and fold. Halfway lift. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step left foot back. So you'll be on that same side. Rise up for crescent lunge. Lift and lengthen. Think of lifting out through the pelvis and squeezing through inner thighs. Hands come down. Take it back for downward facing dog first. Now your option, down dog to high plank, maybe through your baby cobra, or this time you might like to ripple forward, come down halfway. You can always use your knees to support, and then make that smooth transition if you're going there for upward facing dog. So your spinal extension. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. As you're ready, left leg rises. Option, as you're here, you might bend the knees, stack and open. And again, just exploring the movement here or staying down dog. Or maybe you bring your right knee down, or you start to roll to the blade edge of your right foot and come over for your version of wild thing. And then making your way back. Let's keep that left leg reaching high. Stepping it through once again for our crescent lunge. Stay up on the back toes and rise up. Nice full breath. Find it hugging in towards the center. Option for a little bit of balance. You might bring your hands down here. Straightening this front leg. You might just hold here, lifting up onto the back toes, or see if you can start to lift your front foot as well. And just notice, be in those wobbles. Beautiful. Foot comes down. Oops. Hands come down. And then maybe a nice giant step. And coming into your forward fold. Ground down through the feet. Rising up. Lift. Hands through heart center. And then a moment of intentional pause. So your palms come down beside you. You can close down the eyes or just soften the gaze. Really settling your breath. And just noticing how you feel. The sensations in the body, the quality of your breath. Beautiful. And then we'll set up for Utkatasana chair pose. So your feet can be your hip distance apart or together if you prefer. Bending your knees and reach down or sink down. That's it. Take a nice full breath here. You might just take that moment to notice where your pelvis is. So I always tend to tilt forward. So I want to kind of tilt back, find that movement, and then settle into the halfway place and reach the arms. And we're going to sink a little deeper. Reach the arms back, lengthening across the chest, and then maybe you rise up onto your toes. A nice full breath. And then heels come down, reach the arms up once again, stay in your chair. And again, arms sweep back, lengthen the chest, rise onto the toes. Sink down, and lift. And exhale, forward fold. Hands to the shins, halfway lift. Bending the knees, plant your hands and make your way back to downward facing dog first. And then maybe either holding down dog or take this through a round of flow. So modifying as you'd like to as you come through. Maybe to the ground, maybe not. Meeting in downward facing dog. Beautiful. Then rise onto the toes. Ripple forward for your high plank. And bring your right knee down. Take your right foot out to the side. You can adjust your right hand forward. And we're going to open into this supported side plank. So your option is to keep the left foot down, or flip that leg, or reach the arm up, maybe even along. And just find a really active shape first, intentionally with our supported. And then you can either hold here, or bending your knee and your elbow, take this little crunch, right? So elbow to knee, chip, and then extend and open back up. Two more like this, elbow to knee, and reach. One more, elbow to knee, and reach. Beautiful. Take the left hand down, find this mindful transition back to your high plank, and then down dog, reach your right leg high. Step your right foot in between the hands. Come onto the fingertips, bring your back heel down for warrior one. So you can adjust your feet and then reach the arms up. So now the back foot is down, slightly different to crescent. Cactusing your arms, open the chest. Take right arm underneath the left. So for your eagle arms, now it might just be that forearms come together. You might give yourself this little hug if that's kind of where you're at. Or come more towards your eagle arms if it's available in your body. Beautiful. Then reach the arms back behind you. Interlace the fingers, reverse that action. And then reach your arms up. Hands are going to come down, so frame the foot. But take your left hand out in front, come up onto the back toes, we'll reach the right arm so you find this twist. Now your option is to stay right here in the twist, or start to turn your right foot, so the inside edge of the foot is parallel to the front of the mat. Maybe you drop your back heel, you might just hold here. You might even like a moment of kind of sinking the hips to the floor and getting a little stretch here. Or you might prefer to step it back for your version of full side plank on the left side. One full breath. And then gazing down, plant your right hand. Come back to high plank option. Move through a round of flow or take it straight back to downward facing dog. Nice full deep breath. Beautiful, to the other side. So we rise onto the toes, ripple forward for high plank first. Bring your left knee down, take your left foot out to the side, left hand forward, and then open into our supported side plank. And now we're going to take elbow to knee, reach. Elbow to knee, and reach. One more, elbow to knee, extend, bring the hand down, come back towards your downward facing dog and lift and reach your left leg high. Knee towards the nose, step it through. Back heel comes down, warrior one, lifting up. And find that nice warrior one shape, pressing down through your back foot, sink to your front knee. Cactusing the arms. This time left arm comes underneath the right. Eagle arms here. One more breath. Open out your arms. Take them back behind you, maybe interlace. Try and find the opposite pinky on top. Lift and lengthen your chest. And then as we release the hands, bring your fingertips down. So right hand plants, you can bring wrist forward of the shoulder, come up onto your back toes, and open for your twist fist. And then a few options here. You might stay here, or you might turn your foot a little, drop the back heel and just hold here as a supportive variation as well. You might like that moment of stretch when you sink down. Ooh, it's good on the side, buddy. After your knee. And then you might like to take it into your vision of side plank. Lifting those hips, activate through the center. Nice full breath. And then bring the hands down. Your option, moving through your rounded flow, or taking it straight back to downward facing dog. This time from your down dog, either holding here for 3 breaths, or holding in child's pose for 3 breaths, or just sitting up on the heels. Wherever you are, a moment to pause, to notice, and regain awareness and control of your breath. Beautiful, and then making our way back to downward facing dog. Rising up onto the toes, gazing forward, a step walk or maybe a little hop. Come to the top of your mat, feet in the distance of chair, bending your knees, and then lift back up through Utkatasana or chair pose. And then power down through the legs, lift up, maybe all the way up onto your toes. Beautiful, let the hands come down. In just a moment, rolling those shoulders back. Again, this intentional pause, so turn your palms forward. And then as you bring all of your attention and awareness back to your feet, maybe that little rock forward and back. Beautiful, and then open the eyes, arms reach up. Again, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sweep the arms down beside you, sink into the stance. With your breath, sweep the arms back, rise up onto your toes. And heels to the floor. Once again, shift back, see if you can rise up to the toes, squeezing in. And heels come down, lift. Exhale, fold. Now if you do have crow in your practice, you want to lean forward, bring your knees above your elbows, come into that moment of arm balance, feel free. Otherwise, just stepping yourself back, option straight into down dog, or moving through your rounded flow. Beautiful. Once you're back, we're going to reach that right leg high. And again, let's open into our scorpion dog. If you'd like to take it a little further into your wild thing, rolling on that foot, maybe you sink your hips down and then really pressing up, re-lengthen the front of the body. And then changing the gaze, you can sink the hips as you come back over, reach your right leg long, draw the knee over towards the left elbow, option to hover there, or extend that leg through, maybe come to the back heel on your back foot, and option to reach that dog arm up. And lift the hips, so again, this variation of side plank. Beautiful, top hand comes down, sweep the right leg up and back, and we'll step it through. Well done. Rise onto the fingertips, this time back heel comes down to open into warrior two. So wiggle those arms open, sinking into your front knee. A little bit of movement, shifting in and out of the shape. More so that you can really settle in the nice strong foundational alignment of your pose, where you feel very grounded through both feet. Turn your front palm and reverse your warrior back. Beautiful. And then this variation of side angles. So reach your right arm forward. Keep bending into the front knee. Extend your arm as long as you can reach. And then just bring this left arm over. So you're kind of framing the head here. Lengthen. 2 full breaths. Notice what happens through the side body, through your lower back. How can you stabilize and find a little more integrity and strength here? Beautiful. And then take it up and back. This time as you take it to reverse warrior, you can straighten your front leg, more like a reverse triangle. Beautiful. Now let the hands start to come down, but begin to rise up into your back toes once again. Framing that foot, and then again, left hand down, right arm reaches. Your option is to stay right here, or another moment of side plank. So you could take the supported variation here, or step back, lift your hips, and just take 2 full breaths. And then gazing down, you can use your hands if you need, like nothing happened. Step your right foot forward once again, and frame the foot. Stay up on the back toes, rise up, crescent lunge. Find a little bit of balance. I was a little bit wobbly coming up from there. Okay, just the arms. Right elbow under the left. Eagle arms once again. If eagle arms aren't really working for you at any point, you can bring hands to heart center, maybe onto your hips wherever you feel a little more stable. Start to shift the weight forward slightly and step halfway in. Whoop. Now option, just to hold here, or start to lift your back foot. Now you can come down a little more towards warrior 3, or just keep it relatively high. And then drawing your left knee all the way in. So you're standing on your right foot. Now option is to take this towards eagle pose right away. If you prefer to bring your arms out of the shape to find the balance, go for it. Otherwise, crossing that left leg over your right. Maybe here, maybe your foot to the floor, maybe you hook, and maybe even sink down a little deeper. And add like a sense of fold here. So sealing with the breath, squeezing everything in. Beautiful work. See if you can transition out, releasing that leg again. If you wobble and come to the floor, totally fine. We'll release the arms. Start to transition back. If you have your hops here, this would be the time to bring your hands down. Find those little handstand hops. Otherwise, just step yourself back. Maybe down dog, maybe child's pose, maybe through a round of your flow. And just taking these kind of next few breaths to do what you want to do and make your way back. Then it might be enjoying the glorious moment of a child's pose before we come into the left side. Beautiful. Then when you're ready, downward facing dog. Left leg rises. Opening up to scorpion dog. Your option to just kind of pause here or reach the leg. Or we take it all the way back over once again. Nice smooth transition. And that option to really sink your hips down and then pressing down through your feet, reach up and over. And then you can sink down to turn your gaze towards the floor. Coming over, reach that left leg. And then drawing the knee in underneath, cross it over the body, or under the body, sorry. And we'll take our full in pyramid by bringing the back foot down. You don't have to lift this top hand, you can modify however you'd like. And then smooth transition back. Stepping this left foot through. And we'll come into Warrior Two. I'm going to change sides. So finding that movement in your Warrior Two, little sinking in and drawing back. Go nice and stable. And then pausing here for a moment. We'll turn the front palm, little reach, and take it back into your reverse warrior. Reaching long. So now our version of side angle, take that arm out, try and find a length and activity. Both arms come over, you're framing the head, sink into that front knee, lengthening. One more breath. And open up. Warrior Two. So, we're milling the hands down as you come up onto your back toes, keeping your right hand down, reach your left arm up, and find that twist. Now your option is to stay right here, or taking it back towards your version of side plank. There might be a supporter, just add what you'd like to add, or leave it out completely. And then gazing forward, like nothing happened. Maybe you step that foot forward. You can reframe the foot again with your fingertips, ground down through the feet, let's rise up. Crescent warrior. In the elbows, cactus arms. Left arm underneath the right once again. And taking any other adjustments if you want to add more of the hug, or just bring your hands to heart center, totally fine. Shifting forward, halfway step. Okay, so option, just to hold there and keep the toes to the floor, or maybe you float for a moment, and then we draw the right knee in, and if you need to take the hands out or you'd like to kind of reset for your eagle, feel free. Crossing the leg, maybe a little hook, maybe the foot comes down, and we'll sink down. One more breath. And then all the way up, you can release those arms. Nice work, let's take it back. Option, hands to the floor, maybe a few hops. Maybe step back, downward dog, all through your flow. Or let's all meet in a child's pose. And really rinsing out all of that energy and getting things moving. As you come into your child's pose, we'll take kind of 3 to 5 full breaths here. So using it as that moment of pause and noticing, right, how your body feels, quality of your breath. And then just lifting up onto your heels, just have a little shake out for a moment. If you have blocks at home with you, you might like to use them here for a little bit of kind of flossing movement. Otherwise, your hands on the floor works as well. You can even do it without hands. But coming up, we're going to step the right foot forward. However you want to get there, for like a low lunge. And then the blocks you would just use to frame the foot. I'm going to work with this movement, sinking into your lunge, and then drawing back out. So you're straightening that leg towards Adho Hanumanasana. So a little lengthen forward and back, forward and back. And just moving at a pace that kind of makes sense for you and your body, right? You're looking to create more space, movement and freedom. So it's very much up to you how you move this, and be interested and curious with the nuances in the movement. And this next time, if you prefer to stay with movement, you can do that. Otherwise, we'll take a moment to hold in the half split position. So adjust your foot, you're kind of flexing the toes back, squeezing through inner thighs, find this length out of the back, length through the crown of the head, and then looking to fold. And adjusting maybe your hands are beside you. If the tilt isn't happening from the pelvis, you don't want to force it, right? You kind of want the belly coming down towards the thighs here. Lengthen and keep that right leg nice and active. And just 2 more breaths. And rising up onto your rising up to your fingertips. See if you can come all the way up. Bring your hands to your hips. It's a little bit of crazy balance. So even just holding here can be really challenging. Or see if you can actually float, and maybe with a straight leg or a bent leg, and you float this right foot off the floor. I feel very wobbly. Have a go. Maybe straight. And then when you're ready, bring it back down. Let that go, and you can just step your right knee back. Take a moment, sit back, and shake out the arms. You might want to shake out the legs in a way that makes sense. Or what John's doing, and lean back and get a little bounce on the toes. It's got a little dance going on. And then left foot comes forward. So same again on the left side. Adjust if you're using the blocks. Adjust the length of your lunge. And again, be curious. What does it feel like? How does it change the sensation? Coming forward and back. Just flossing out the space, looking for a little bit of balance, movement and flow. You might be moving slower than me or faster than me. It doesn't matter. It's all about tuning into your own body's rhythm today. Taking a few more. When you feel ready, we're going to settle into that half split shape. So you can adjust the back knee, adjust your blocks, drawing those toes back, find length out of your lower back, the tilting forward if it's there, and then maybe you're coming forward. But try not to force it. Can you still actually observe and be connected with your breath? Two more breaths here. And then we'll play with that little balance once again if you'd like to. So lifting up, and again it might just be balancing on your knee. You don't even have to lift the leg. For anything like me, I feel very off balance today. For quite obvious reasons. And then maybe with a straight leg or with a bent, you can just play with floating that up. And be in the sense of playing curiosity about what's going on in your body. When you've had enough of that, bring it all back. Slide the blocks out of the way. And you might like child's pose, or you can bring the legs forward and just shake up those legs, shake up those knees. Okay, and then you might like to sit up on your blanket or anything else you've got to support for this version of Paschimottanasana, or our seated forward fold, moving the buttocks out of the way, drawing the toes back, Lift and lengthen out of your lower back. You might even like this reach with the arms to find more length and extension. And then as I'm drawing my toes back, I start to reach, but I'm not moving from my chin. I want to look for the length in the lower back, tilt from the pelvis, and then start to come forward and over the legs. Taking 2 more breaths. And then as you're ready, you can lift back up. Hands can come behind you, bending those knees. And a gentle movement side to side. Alrighty. We'll come down to the back. Now, these stages, we will work through some back bends, and then we're going to take a moment to settle into Supta Baddha Konasana and then Shavasana. So have blocks close by, especially if you like them for the knees if they're a bit vulnerable, or if you'd like to use it for more of a supported bridge instead of active back bends. So your arms come all the way down. Roll the shoulders back. And take a moment just to find this contact with the floor. It's the first time we've been lying down. And feeling your shoulders and your pelvis into the ground. And then look for that little tilting forward and back with your pelvis. So starting to, before we come up, really initiate that movement from your lower spine. And you might stay here. This can be very soothing and calming, just even pelvic tilts here. Or take a few rounds of undulating bridge, and then we'll hold in our bridge pose. Coming with me, pressing down, lifting your hips up with the breath, and then just mindfully, like you're placing your spine down, tilt forward. And again. The next time you lift up, holding at the top for your bridge pose, coming up, pressing down to the feet, think of that squeezing through your inner thighs, and if there's space, bring the hands in underneath, maybe you walk your shoulders right in underneath, and then chest to the chin, chin to the chest, pressing down through the feet, breathing here. You might like a few more breaths there, just holding, and then coming back down as you're ready, and pausing at the bottom. And your option, you might just stay with the pelvic tilts, you might like a few more undulating, or coming up for your bridge pose again, and maybe full wheel. Arms reaching overhead, you can lift up if that's in your practice. Or here you might prefer to come into supported bridge, using the block, just lifting up, and bring that underneath the sacrum. So taking your variation, okay, and a minute more of the back bends. And if you're holding at the top, keeping it active, make sure you keep that nice squeezing of inner thighs, that activity through the center line of the body, to the core of the body. Two more breaths where you are. And then coming down, and any little movement you need to release out of your back bends. And then we'll take it into these few moments of Supta Baddha Konasana. So I like to have the blocks in under the knees. It just always feels a little more supportive, but it's up to you. Or anything under your back. But bring the feet together, so soles of the feet together, and your knees can come out wide. And you might just let your hands gently rest on your body, kind of wherever it feels comfortable. It might be belly and heart. I quite like just the bottom of the rib cage, this kind of center of the body. And then really focusing on your breath. So can you keep your attention moving with your breath and looking to make it really smooth. So in and out through the nose. It's like you're smoothing out the breath now, just noticing the movement of energy through the body, this feeling of settling, grounding. And then slowing the breath right down as you allow the weight of the body to become heavy. And you can keep your attention just on the place underneath your hands. So you want to have these kind of several single points of focus to really keep you tuned in, and you're training this internal awareness or this ability to stay single point focused. Every time your mind drifts away, bringing it back to the smooth, easeful notion of your breath. Breathing in through the nostrils, so you feel the rise under your hands. Inviting out of the nostrils as you feel your hands fall. Just stay here, keeping this focus with breath and movement in your legs in the shape. Or if you prefer, you can transition to any other position you'd like to take your Shavasana in, which might be legs out long, it might be lying on your side or your belly, or even coming to a seated position. And then if you're finding this relatively soothing where you are, then maybe you stay as you are, just for these last few minutes of the practice. Shavasana. Time you'd like to stay as you are, of course, take that extra time. Otherwise, starting to deepen the breath, you wriggle through your fingers and your toes, and just taking your time to invite movement, stretching out or drawing the knees in if you've been in that shape the whole time. Either pausing as you are and closing there, or you might like to come up to a seated position. You close with me. And just take a full breath together, wherever you may be right now. Nice full inhale through the nose, and sighing it out the mouth. practicing. And may you all be well and strong and heart-centered. Namaste.